Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Rosdiana and today my presentation will be on chapter 12, which is gender, politeness and stereotypes. So this chapter is all about how the usage of language differs between men and women. I will be dividing this presentation into 5 subtopics, which are interaction, gossip, linguistic construction of gender and sexuality, and sexist language. So let's get right into it. Okay, now the first one will be on interaction. Okay, there are many features of interaction that differentiate the talk of men and women in particular contexts. However, I will be focusing on two major features of interaction that were highlighted in the textbook, which are interrupting behavior and conversational feedback. Okay, interrupting behavior. In cross-gender interactions, it was proven by a research that males like to interrupt women more by 96%. So that is a very high percentage. In fact, the Americans even made an advertisement that describes just how much men love to interrupt women, and they call it menterruption. Okay, meanwhile, in same-gender interruptions are distributed evenly among the speakers and listeners. Studies have shown that women got more interrupted by men regardless of status, context, setting, or environment. The closest example that I can give you guys here is a scenario between parents and children. In most cases, fathers tend to interrupt a lot in most conversations, and daughters were interrupted the most. And for my case, it is true. All right. Moving on to conversational feedback. Men tend to be more competitive and less supportive, so they are less likely to give any form of feedback throughout a conversation. Women, on the other hand, would provide more encouraging feedback than men do, and they can be in forms of words or gestures like mm-hmm, mm-hmm, or oh, 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 something like that. So this shows that women tend to develop ideas instead of challenging them because it is in their nature that they focus on maintaining good social relations with others. Now, okay, on to the second subtopic, which is gossip. Okay, right. Gossip is a relaxed in-group talk between people that occurs in informal settings. We are going to look into women and men's behaviors on gossiping. So when women gossip among themselves, they will most likely talk about personal experiences and relationships and then relate them to personal problems and feelings. They do it because they just want to relieve their bottled up feelings or reinforce shared values among themselves. Most men would, however, call it two-faced, but actually women gossip because they would usually find it uncomfortable to confront people directly due to their nature of wanting to maintain relationships. They do not want to risk that. Therefore, the gestures are more sympathetic, affirming, supportive, and encouraging. So as shown in the example below, hey girl, guess what? He cheated on me. Oh my god, girl, are you okay? Don't worry, he's lost anyway. So that's how it is. So while for men, they tend to argue, criticize, and insult as a way to express their solidarity and maintain social relationships. So their gestures would mainly be aggressive, blunt, vulgar, and sometimes verbally abusive. But don't get me wrong, it is not bad in any way, it is just in their nature. For example, they tend to use the F word, the S word, and the D word to emphasize a certain emotion. So for example here, God damn it dude, I am so effing pissed off because I can't believe she cheated on me. Oh, man, tell me what happened. So it goes something like that. Alright, moving on to the third subtopic, which is the linguistic construction of gender. Gender identity is generally defined as classifying every person as males or females merely based on the established or standard gender norms. Like, women should look soft, men should look tough. Yes, that kind of stuff. However, gender identity should be approached as a construction, not a fixed category or a norm. For example, as you can see in the picture here, women can be in a police force and show a masculine image or features like they don't smile much or they wear bulky clothes and they talk tough. while men can be a clothing designer and show a more feminine personality. For example, they would avoid swear words and they would gossip as passionately as most women do. So, a person constructs their social identity through their narratives of personal experience. So let's take Lisa for an example. Lisa can be both a soft, loving mother and a stern professional corporate lady. So what does it mean by narratives? Around her mother friends, she would use feminine terms to describe a certain experience, like watching her daughter swim, for example. Oh, she swims like a sweet little ducky. You see? Like, how cute is that? So she uses words like cute, sweet, and little as she identifies herself as a loving mother. Like, she wants to be a good, she wants her friend to look at her as a good mother. While at work, she would use a more assertive style of interaction with her colleagues to appear more serious and professional. Alright, now the fourth subtopic, which is the linguistic construction of sexuality. Sexuality covers a wide range, including heterosexuals, homosexuals as in gays and lesbians, transgender, and many more. We have bisexuals, pansexuals, so there is a lot of that. So the relationship between language and sexuality involves how people construct their sexual identity. In most cases, how people talk about sexual intercourse or engage in any sexual activities. So more examples would be, as you can see here, homosexual men tend to use feminine vocab items, wavy intonation, or a dramatic pitch, like, "Oh my god, girl, this dress looks amazing on you." So it sounds something like that. While heterosexuals tend to use cultural values to make themselves appear more attractive. For example, women would use physical attractiveness, while men would use economic security. Alright, lastly, sexist language. So sexist language is basically a reflection of a stereotyping attitude, which can be both positive and negative. Okay, so can a language be sexist? Is English considered a sexist language? Well, according to most feminists, yes, it is. Alright, so let's look into some examples. Animal imagery is probably the most popular one, and they tend to have negative connotations on the image of women. Examples are the very famous B word, which is a bitch, as in a female dog. It is used to call a woman evil or nasty. Bat is used to describe a silly old woman. And chick and chicken, although they are used to describe women as adorable and sweet, however, these animals are somewhat helpless. So there is an underlying meaning to say that women are weak. Alright, next up, English morphology. Okay, some morphological structures in English view women as deviant, abnormal, and subordinate. For example, lion, lioness, actor, actress, hero, heroine. Alright, as you can see, the base word of this acts as the male forms like lion, actor, and hero, while the suffix of it, which is us in actress and lioness, and in heroine, acts as the female form. So this shows some kind of a sexism to convey that women's status is always going to be submissive to a man. Alright, and lastly will be generic structures. This is used to marginalize women and treat them as invisible or insignificant. So from the excerpt here, okay, maybe you guys can have a quick read. Alright, you can see that the writer used the word man, he, his, him to describe a human being in the mountains. So it indicates that the writer is not conceived of the possibility that women are also capable to venture the mountains too, not just men. Alright, so that would be the end of my presentation. Is there any questions? Alright, if there is a question, I have a question for you guys. So you guys can have a look at the words over here. Okay, so why do you think that these terms were changed? Support your answer with a relevant theory. Okay, thank you. That's all for me.